Hi everybody and welcome to another Kalicube Tuesdays. I'm Jason Barnard, the brand SERP guy from Kalicube, and today I'm here with Beatrice Gamba from WordLift. Welcome, Beatrice.
Hi Jason, thank you.
Yeah, I just realized I said your name with a French accent, but you are in fact Italian.
Yeah, I am, but I have some sort of French descent from my dad's family, so.
Right. Okay, so I can sing with the French accent. A quick hello
Yeah.
and we're good to go. Welcome to the show, Beatrice Gamba.
That's
So I
a
put my
perfect
French
French
accent on.
pronunciation, yeah.
30 years in France and I've got the French off to a T. So today we're going to be talking about smashing SEO strategies in the era of AI. I love the title because I like the word smashing. It's terribly British and delightful, and it really covers both. It says both amazing and also smashing through the SEO strategies with AI, which is kind of dynamic and exciting. But before we get to that, really quickly, your brand SERP. When we look up your name, Beatrice Gamba, I see Dave Davis, SEO strategist, Market News, Kalicube Tuesdays, AI Generated, Knowledge Graph, Digital Marketing, WordLift, and Jason Barnard as the tags for the images, which I found hugely interesting. So I then went into the images, clicked on Kalicube Tuesdays, and there we can see, obviously, Kalicube Tuesdays dominates. And then I noticed something really interesting over here on the right-hand side, glasses, which is really bizarre. And I realized then when I click on that, you see in Kalicube Tuesdays, we have a lot of guests who wear glasses in the photos. And you've been on a lot of Kalicube Tuesdays with guests who wear glasses. And then to finish, I then thought, well, therefore Google associates Kalicube Tuesdays with glasses, spectacles. And so I searched on images for Kalicube Tuesdays glasses, and yes, a lot of guests on Kalicube Tuesdays wear glasses. That was really, really, really strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I'm the only one who doesn't wear glasses.
Which is a brilliant point. So yes, for people who are listening to the podcast, I just showed lots of screenshots of people wearing glasses associated with Beatrice, who ironically does not wear glasses and is not wearing glasses today. So on to the topic, smashing SEO strategies in the era of AI. I wanted to, first of all, start with the evolution of SEO in the era of AI. How are things changing with AI coming into search?
Yeah, so things are changing a lot. In fact, the word smashing is also like kind of gives a hint of the disruption that we are living as SEOs. I mean, as the role of SEOs has always been to adapt to state-of-the-art technologies to, help clients achieve online visibility, which remains the core. But everything else it has changed. So now we have to kind of optimize for AI. There are a lot of people suggesting to use it or not to use it, but I mean the main core is always to have to produce good content, because that is what makes the difference for the users, and this is finally and ultimately how your website can be promoted and can be retrieved as a good source, a reliable source also from these new generative AI search engines.
So we have basically two sides. One is AI in the search engines, and the other is SEOs using AI to master the search engines. Can we start with generative AI in the search engines? What's changing? What's happening? Should we be frightened?
Yeah, so this is really interesting because in the past couple of weeks, we've been adding a new section to the reports that we discuss with our clients. We have started adding a section where we address and we show these new SERPs that you get when you converse with the new Google, and also with the new Bing. The new Bing we've been doing since few months. And that is really interesting because you can see, because we've been relying on SERP, and we've been getting accustomed to the look and feel of the SERP, when in fact also SERPs change from nation to nation. So even there, we've been narrowing it down a lot. But then when you change everything and you see all this colorful look and feel, and you can see your content broke down into different questions and answers, then it gets really, kind of weird, but also exciting. And then you wonder, what can I do to have the best text and the best images there? So new questions starts raising, but the answers may not be that new, at least for us who have been adopting knowledge graphs and using structured data on our websites.
Right. So from that perspective, we have Google with its search generative experience, which is the worst possible name they could have given it. I think they were in such a rush to catch up with Bing that they just picked the first name that came out of the hat. And they present basically an extremely rich featured snippet, or what I'm now calling a dynamic knowledge panel. And what they're building is a knowledge panel from a mixture of its knowledge and the recommendations that it's giving in the search results. And I think you'll agree, and I know you'll agree, your internal knowledge graph in your website is hugely, hugely important to being able to master that. Can you give me the lowdown on how you feel an internal knowledge graph would fit into a generative AI SEO strategy? But you would need to explain first what an internal knowledge graph is.
Yeah, so you can build a knowledge graph for yourself, for your website. In that way, you would have this kind of units of knowledge that in WordLift we call entities, and in the knowledge graph world as well. So you have these units of knowledge that are entities, and they represent like a unique concept. And this should be the unique concepts of your core topics and of your website. And they are referenced in such a way that these entities do contain informations in the forms of synonyms and external links to that concept. So, for example, like Jason showed before, when you type Beatrice Gamba, so that is an entity on the WordLift blog, and the entity it's me. And beside, internally on that web page, we have all the different external links and internal links that talk about me. And they address that I am an SEO expert in that way. When you ask to Google or Bing, is Beatrice Gamba an SEO expert, they can univocally say, yes, she is. So this sort of how it works. And we have found that the current SERP and the new SG SERP do not always match. In fact, they tend to differ a lot. And that depends also, sometimes it does, especially for products, when you type in a product query, because we've been doing that with one of our clients that has a product knowledge graph. And we saw that they tend also to differ. This is also because this is the SG is still very in experimental phase. In fact, some of these styles are not even clickable, so they're not leading really to anywhere. So in that case, also creating some sort of business damage to some websites.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. And I've just been looking for this, which is a screenshot that I've done. This is how we divide the SERP at Kalicube. Knowledge on the right-hand side on desktop, recommendations on the left-hand side, and generative at the top. And what we are seeing is that the knowledge and the recommendations come together to create the generative experience. And if you can master knowledge and recommendations, left rail and right rail, you get that lovely chunk at the top. We use WordLift on our websites, and it's been hugely helpful for building our internal knowledge graph, and it's definitely helped us with that. It also helps us boost our SEO traffic, generally speaking, in normal search. To what extent do you think we can now use AI to do SEO and beat the generative AI experience, as it were?
All right. So, for instance, I think the major switch that we are facing is the switch from keywords to user intents. User intent should be now the leaders of any SEO and content strategy, because we want to be there for the users. And also every query that you type onto Google, actually you can see it from the new Bing. When you type in a question, the new Bing narrows it down to the user intent. So you can see that it says, I'm looking for results for, and it narrows down, cuts it down to the user intent. This is really, really interesting. And this is what we've been doing in the past year, let's say. We've been switching from to user intent. So that is one thing that really helps. And then also relying on a content that is organized in a conversational way. So like producing content in a question and answer structure, and also, of course, adding the FAQ page markup. So always backing up the content on the front end, having it backed up with the metadata in the back end.
Right. No, that's really great practical advice. I do love that. And building FAQ sections is one of my favorite hobbies. A question here then is, to create my FAQ section, can I just go to ChatGPT, type in the question, copy paste the answer?
Of course, no. I don't think that's the fair use. I mean, of course, also Google has become stricter and stricter in terms of what is called the WAT. That's a Google framework to assess the quality of content. And in general, the algorithm has become more strict, because due to this huge amount of AI-generated content being produced, then you have to assert yourselves as the leader in the topic that you want to be promoted. Like if you are an SEO expert, you have to prove to Google that you are an SEO expert. Otherwise, your content, it may be AI generated or humanly generated, it won't rank. You have to build yourself the authority.
Okay, and how do you do that?
For example, like building an author page for yourself. This is how I do it, at least. I have my author page on the WordLift blog, and it's a person type from the schema.org vocabulary. And inside this, inside my entity, I have all the links to my articles, so internal links from the blog, and also external links from my Kalicube events or any other conference I attended. I add the link, and also it's very important to keep the thing updated. And you have to give Google like the idea that you are not only an expert because you write articles on your blog, but you also have to prove provide external links to prove that also you are acclaimed as an expert from other sources, not only your own blog.
Which is kind of personal branding and not AI at all. It's actually doing a proper job of building your own personal brand. So back to AI. How about leveraging AI tools? Can you give me some examples of AI tools that can usefully be leveraged for the new world, the new epoch that we're entering?
Yeah, so for instance, any even ChatGPT can really be helpful to discover user intents and to analyze. It can make sense of data. I've been using that a lot, like when I have some different data sources or messy data, I get a lot of help from OpenAI because these AI algorithms can analyze user search patterns. They can identify relationships between keywords, user intents, and then I ask for suggestions, like if it knows any long tail keyword related to the data that I asked to analyze. And in that way, it gives you a hint. I mean, it's not that it's impossible to rely on these kind of tools, like totally. But sometimes, when you are having a writer block or a SEO expert block, you can ask for suggestion, and the suggestions are analytical. Then you have to add the human touch. But I guess it's
Right.
a good starting point.
Yeah,
Sometimes for some
have
strategies.
I have the opposite problem to writer's block and idea block. I'm trying to figure out which ones I should do first. So from that perspective, typing into ChatGPT, what should I focus on first is probably my next task. I also wanted to look at leveraging AI for link building. Now, link building for me Google has always worked on word counting and link counting. And for me, link building is now much less important in my mind. Am I wrong? Number one. And number two, how do we use AI to do link building?
Yeah, this depends on how how much authority you already have. Like if you're starting anew, we have some clients that are just starting out with their websites, and in that phase, I think that the link building is one of the most important activities that one can do, and also one of the hardest, really, because sometimes it does not fully depends on us.
Brilliant. Oh, sorry, that's really beautifully said, because I tend to just say, right, link building, let's put it over here. But in fact, you're 100% right, it depends on the circumstances. And for a new site without link building or without some kind of inbound link, you're always going to struggle. And as you say, the most important thing, and I've just been, what's the word? A light bulb moment. Thank you very much, Beatrice. Next is, what AI tools can we use, or how can we leverage AI for link building?
Yeah, but mainly for suggestions, like one thing that Andrea said, that Andrea Volpini is the CEO of WordLift, said the other time that we were talking, and it says, it's the era before you used to steal like ideas and concepts from competitors, but right now you steal prompts. That you use to make the AI useful, and that is really what is going on right now. Because in order to make the AI work, you have to post the right questions. So to make it helpful for you, also in terms of link buildings, you have to give context of what you're trying to do. And then it may return with some really, really useful suggestions. And we've been testing it mainly. We have still yet to see the if this works, if the suggested strategy works. So I can't confirm, but sometimes, I was surprised.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. If we move on to crawling and indexing techniques with AI,
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of think, oh, crawl with Screaming Frog, and that's my job done for the day.
Yeah. So, well, we also do that in-house, like for our clients, since we are mostly innovation partners for our clients. So we do not rely entirely on OpenAI APIs. Of course, we have built our own AI model, our own language model that we use. So everything is built in-house and with a lot of work undergoing for many, many years. So in that case, when we have to do some scraping for one of our clients, we rely on our own models. But it happened that when you what was useful for us, and we have built some custom mini language models for one of our clients. So we went through their content that we of course had the right to use, and with their content we built a tool that was a conversational tool, and you could actually interact with their content. So you could ask about the main topics of their websites, and it would return a good and precise answer with the same tone of voice and with the same kind of words used already by them. So this is one of the most useful cases we've been using the scraping tools for AI.
Which is a beautiful segue. I've been working with Gennaro Cuafano, who used to work at WordLift, and he started a platform, boosting.ai, and he does exactly this with the tool. And we've built Calibot using Gennaro's platform. And it's really great fun because we fed it with all the transcripts from the stuff that I've talked about. And it can now more or less speak like I do and write like I do and answer all of the stupid questions that I would ask, like which of the three groups Jason Barnard's played in as a musician. And it can actually answer that when the information isn't generally available. Sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I think that this is the best use case, like the ideal scenario when you have a machine that works with content that you have the right to use, and that it returns answers reusing your content and with the same tone of voice. I mean, this is the ideal scenario.
Yeah, and this is something that a lot of businesses are now going to be doing.
Yeah.
And so rather than going to ChatGPT and asking the question, getting the standard answer, you can now get the proper answer that you would have given in your tone of voice. Is that something you think you could just ask the question and copy paste the answer, or do you still need to rework it manually?
No, you need to rework it, because what we get in terms of content that many, I'm sure many of our audience can relate to, it tends to be boring. Like the answers from any AI tool tend to be boring and repetitive. There are a lot of repetitions and like cut phrases, and then the sentence after does not really make sense. So there's always a lot of work when you have some AI generated text for validation and correction to do. But nonetheless, I think it's very useful.
Yeah, I mean, what we've been doing is going in and changing the voice from very passive, which is what these machines tend to write, to more active voice, adding some adjectives, correcting factual mistakes, which it does still make even when it's trained on our own data, and adding additional information. What I've found is, from that perspective, it inspires me to think, oh, what about that? What about that? And then I can add some more information that I hadn't thought about before. And it's the whole blank white page before you start working that's hugely difficult, and you can use generative AI to produce that first draft, and then you say, well, that's rubbish. And once you've got there, then it's really easy to correct it when you're saying it isn't any good.
Yeah, or at least if you know what you don't want to be there, it's already a starting point.
Yes, very good point. And in terms of algorithmic updates in the future, you talk about future-proofing your SEO strategy. How would you go about that?
Yeah, this is something we've been working on lately. this whole optimization for AI and how to fairly use the AI to future-proof means to be there when your user needs you, and to be ready and on the go for any technology that may come up. So since the beginning, like when the new Bing popped up, like content related to our company, to WordLift, seem to be there, and also most of our clients. This is because we heavily use structured data. So my advice to anyone who is not yet using the structured data, I guess it's time, because that is the most future-proof thing you can do as of now. Whereas in terms of, for example, content optimization, as I said, always rely on good content update strategies, and also what I like about especially structured data and knowledge graphs is that all kind of media types are supported. So I always talk about content, and someone may understand like texts, but it's not only about text, and as much as today, it's also about images, videos, even social media feeds, user-generated content, customer reviews, like everything that can help building our digital brand identity can be inserted in a knowledge graph, can be structured, and heavily being reused by any AI ecosystem, any search engine technology. So this is also really something that I want to stress, that it's not only about text, it's also about images and video content, anything that makes the experience.
Right, absolutely brilliant way to end this episode, which is don't just write text, do videos, images. This is a multimedia world and increasingly multimedia search, especially with generative AI coming in. Thank you so much, Beatrice. That was absolutely brilliant. Now you have the last question, which is my favorite question, is how can AI SEO help with branded search strategies? You have a minute.
Yes, I think that knowledge graphs play a very significant role in enhancing branded search results. The main point that comes to my mind is that knowledge graph can help getting the knowledge panel, because it can help in displaying brand information. And in that way, also some not only answers, but also I have some questions that I pose to myself, like every time, how will this change? What will the knowledge panel become? This is really interesting point to touch base sometimes. And then it can help you give knowledge graphs, can help bring in knowledge graphs, and AI can help bring a prominent placement in SERPs, because that content that is sustained by structured data can get to occupy a prominent position in SERP. And the brand placement then ensures that the brand information is one of the first things that users see when searching for the brand. And again, both these aspects can be seen under a whole new light when we think of generative search engines. So as of now, we can see evidence of this, of top ranking knowledge graph based websites in both the new Bing and the Google SG. So
they are wonderful answer. No, and you focused on knowledge panels because you knew it would make me happy, and I do appreciate that kindness from you. Thank you so much, Beatrice. That was a brilliant last answer. And now we're going to pass the baton to Callum Scott next week, speaking about understanding and recovering from Google traffic drops. Callum Scott uses Kalicube Pro with his agency to serve his clients. So he's one of our clients, and he's absolutely brilliant and a delightful chap. Could you please pass the baton, Beatrice?
Yeah, sure. I pass the baton to you, Callum. and your brilliant talk about the traffic drops from Google, which is going to be, I'm sure, really, really interesting. And I myself really curious about that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next week, I hope. A quick goodbye to end the show. Thank you, Beatrice. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jason. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, hang on. I've lost my... here we go. The end screen. Kalicube. It's all about your brand SERP.